Marrying that naive, oblivious Luvelia?
Great. That's a relief.
This is the last part of this story. Peter is very guilty about what he had done on a date with Luvelia. He was crying while taking the bath and suddenly Piglet came in. She was in a towel, and he asked if she knew the meaning of the rest day. She said yes and asked to clean his back. Now she started cleaning his back and Peter was telling her about how he ruined his date. Piglet was behaving sincerely and asked if he wanted to relax his heart on her chest because she didn't want to torture him like others. Suddenly her towel drops, and materialistic eyes see her big packs only. But our innocent Peter got stuck in great mountains and was not able to come out. Suddenly Lisa and the other girls appeared, and they started cursing Piglet, but Piglet was familiar with what they had done. Girls were surprised that Piglet wasn't innocent because Piglet wanted the juice out of him too very desperately. Peter was frustrated to see their intentions and all the girls started moving towards him with their huge talons. They decided to divide his juices equally. Now Peter was with all the girls, and he was depressed. He started blaming his elephant and started cursing himself because without rest it was just like paper without any gel. He started running out of his guilt because of the girls. He was running from the fact that he had cheated several times on Luvelia. He fell, stood up and again started running and thought that this was the end of his love story. This was the day when he went to a side with a complete loss of hope and was crying. An ogre named Antonio stopped by him and asked if he was alright. Antonio gave him a piece of clothing to hide his leg and they started talking. Peter told him that he had made a mistake many times and now he was very guilty because he wasn't able to match his eyes with his loved one. Antonio told him that he could understand his feelings because he was also in love with a girl, and he was searching for her. He was in love with her for 3 years but wasn't able to find her, but now Antonio was hoping for her finding. Antonio's saying was like a miracle for Peter and suddenly sun rays started appearing and Peter was fascinated after hearing him. Now Antonio was leaving, and Peter asked about his love. Antino told him that she was a princess, and her name was Lisa. When Peter heard that name, he was shocked because he didn't know that Lisa was a princess and he had done a disrespectful thing to her already. Now Peter went to Lisa and asked for the reality. Lisa was silent, and he asked how it was possible in this world that 2 girls who appeared randomly were royal. But the more drastic part was Peter had disgraced both of them. He asked for the justification and Lisa said it was true that she was a princess. Peter was shocked. On the other side Michi was reading a masterpiece and Antonio came to her and asked a query about Lisa and Nini. Michi was obsessed with Antonio's strong muscles and suddenly Nini came. She recognized Antonio, and they started talking. Peter said if the people of her tribe came to know about his act of disrespectfulness, then it would be counted as a crime. But Lisa assured him that he would be fine at the end of the day, and she removed her top. Lisa started seducing him and Peter lost control. Antonio had come to know about Lisa's location from Mimi and was desperate to meet her because it's been 3 years since he had not seen Lisa. He went inside and heard some weird sounds, and when he opened the door, he was shocked because Lisa and Peter were doing the ritual of seed planting. Antonio was so angry that the room was going to be destroyed, that he attacked Peter. Peter had no good weapons to fight, so he started fighting with a banana. He was scared to death because a banana couldn't make him survive.
Be reasoned with. Besides, no matter how closely I counter his movement.
Suddenly Lisa ordered Antonio to stop, and he had no option other than stopping. Now Antonio and Lisa were sitting, and he asked her to come back, but she refused and said that she had left her homeland to be more powerful and strong. Had genes that every breed needs. Antonio was mad, and Lisa told him that he had to relax when it was her desire. Lisa said she was the strongest in her tribe and she wanted her partner to be more powerful than her, and Peter was that one. But Antonio told her that he had also worked very hard on his muscles and skills, and he was also competent for her, so he challenged Peter to a duel. Now Peter and Antonio were sitting for the duel and Peter thought that it was a golden chance for him to get rid of Lisa by losing the battle. But suddenly Lisa came to him and showed him Luvelia with Mimi. She asked him if he wanted to keep the contract secret, then he had to win the battle and Peter's plan was ruined. Lisa started the battle and Antonio told him that what he had said yesterday meant nothing now because he'd kill him. Kim was also watching it and he recognized Antonio's skill and thought that Peter would not resist it. Antonio was fully ready, and he told Peter that he had waited for Lisa his entire life and had not touched anybody. The public was sad because Antonio was a virgin for Lisa and the audience wanted Peter to lose the match for Antonio's sake. Antonio was fully ready for the attack, but Peter resisted it very easily and Lisa declared him the loser. Antonio was very sad and was asking for her second chance. Peter also told Lisa that it wasn't good to break someone's heart that brutally, so Lisa gave Antonio a second chance and said she challenged him to a duel after a week. Peter was about to leave but Antonio stopped him and asked for his teaching for the battle with Lisa. Peter was surprised because he had not done something like that before. Vegan and Piglet came and told Peter that he had to help Antonio because if he'd succeed in defeating Lisa then he would be free from her dark shadow. Peter thought about it and decided to help Antonio. Now Antonio's training with Peter had started, he was doing very well. Vegan was helping Antonio with her potions and Piglet was helping with her remedies for muscle strengthening. Antonio was ready and suddenly Piglet and Peter saw Antonio with Michi. Piglet said she thought that Michi was in love with Antonio because she was giving Antonio lunch daily. Now the day had come for the fight between Antonio and Lisa. They both were fully determined to win. The battle had started, and Peter was hopeful about Antonio's success. But he noticed that Lisa was tricking Antonio with her great talents and Antonio wasn't able to concentrate. Vegan and Piglet also understood Lisa's trick and ultimately Antonio lost the battle. Vegan and Piglet started cursing Lisa for her cheating, but Lisa had no guilt about it. When Antonio woke up, Peter told him about his failure and Peter thought the reason for his failure wasn't his skills. Suddenly Michi came, and she started talking with Antonio. Peter was staring at them, and he got an idea. He asked Antonio to go aside and told him that his weakness wasn't his skills. He had to be close to a woman like Michi and Antonio got angry about that because Peter was persistent and suddenly Michi came, and she said she also had the same feelings for him. Antonio was shocked and Peter asked for his leave and left. Antonio and Michi had done the ritual and now Antonio was feeling great. Peter told him to ask for a rematch with Lisa, but he refused. Mitch came with the lunch and they started playing their love games and Peter was helpless. Lisa came and thanked Peter for his help in getting freedom from Antonio. Lisa also asked him about his happiness and said Luvelia was a useless thing, but he had to consider herself as his partners and she left. Luvelia came and he decided that she was the true happiness for Peter, and she told him about goblin attack, and he started going with her. Peter was very happy with Luvelia and the naughty girls were after him because they wanted his juice. Subscribe to the channel for the latest updates.